Come, journey with me to explore new worlds and endless possibilities. Hi guys, it's me, Lady Sean, welcoming you back for another episode of Cover to Cover Chronicles. And in this episode, I will be reviewing book 4 in the Torpedo Ink Series, which is Desolation Road by Christine Feehan. And in this book, we are introduced to Absinthe, who of course is another member of the Torpedo Ink Motorcycle Club. And we find out that he is basically the lie detector of the club, which means that he can tell when someone is lying, but he also has the ability with the use of his voice to influence other people's behavior, and that he can suggest that they do certain things and that they have no choice but to obey him. And we also meet Scarlett in this book, who, when she first meets Absinthe, she is working as a librarian. And we find out that along with Absinthe's talent is that he also pulls in emotions and images from other people's mind. And knowing the type of abuse that we've seen so far that he and the other members of Torpedo Ink have gone through, we find that there's a lot that he is being troubled with, not only with the abuse that he suffered himself, but he also relives the abuse that the other members went through. Because of his proximity to them, he is able to see these images in their mind as well. And so we find out that he seeks quiet places to try to clear his mind, and that one of these places is the library. And on this particular day, the library he chose is the one where Scarlett works. And of course, as with the other men, he finds out that he has a strong attraction to Scarlett. And he also finds that when he is in her presence, she has the ability to calm his mind and to also help him to clear out the images from the abuse that not only he, but also the other members of Torpedo Ink endured when they were children. And if you remember from any of my earlier videos, that they were separated from their families and they were trained to be assassins in these schools in Russia. And we find that they were not ordinary schools. They were actually run by evil men and women who were pedophiles, and that they subjected these children to horrendous amounts of abuse. And we find out that of the 200, 300 kids that were taken to these schools, that only 18 of this one particular school were able to escape. And we do find out there were a total of 4 schools in Russia, but the one that the Torpedo Ink members were at was the worst of the 4 schools. But we also do find that there were some other survivors from the remaining schools, and we begin to see them start to kind of appear to the regular Torpedo Ink crew, and that they are requesting to join them and to become part of the official Torpedo Ink motorcycle group. But back to Absinthe and Scarlett. So, as we see with Scarlett, we find out that she also had a troubled childhood, that she tried to have charges pressed against her boyfriend when she was younger because he and some friends attempted to rape her. But because he comes from a very prominent family, they were able to pay off the judges and the attorneys, and they actually ended up sending her to prison when she was 17. But also while she was in prison, tragedy struck, and that her sister was raped and ended up killing herself. And when her parents found her sister dead, they ended up killing themselves as well. Well, the dad shot the mom and then he killed himself. And so all of this happened while Scarlett was in prison. And in the midst of all of this, she ends up getting a new attorney who was a female. and they end up getting her sentence overturned. And so she ends up getting out of prison, and she ends up suing the county for being locked up when really she was innocent, and that they did attempt to rape her. So she leaves town, and everybody loses track of her. And then 5 years later, she reappears back in the States. And then that's when Scarlet, we really find out what happened and what transpired. And let's just say Scarlet fits right in with the Torpedo Ink crew. I don't want to give away too much of Scarlet's story, because let's just say that she did have some special training, and she got the idea from a couple of the women that she was in prison with when they found out her story. And she has a very quick mind, similar to Absinthe, in that she can download and process tons of information. And so she sets out, once she was released from prison, to get the training that she needs in order to be able to get revenge on those that wronged her and also caused her sister's death. A lot of the techniques that Scarlet uses are similar to those used by the members of Torpedo Ink. So let's just say, more than any of the other women that have come up in these stories, she is one that is pretty much a dead ringer to fit in with the Torpedo Ink crew, and also to be able to help them in their missions, because she and Absinthe are pretty much the exact same, whereas he actually pulls in a lot of the images from others. She has the ability to take those images from him and pretty much kind of disperse them. And of course, in this book, as always, they seek to right the injustice that's done, especially when the father of one of the boys attempts to put a hit out on Scarlet, because he is pretty sure that she has killed his son and the other guys that attempted to rape her, but did rape her sister. But he has no proof of this. And so in order to get his revenge, he puts a hit out on her, which leads to us finding another motorcycle club, the Venomous, who we find that he uses as his security team, and that he uses them to intimidate those that would try to sue him or in any way hinder his business. That he uses these guys to kind of get back at them, to keep them silent, and to blackmail them. But we also find, of course, a link that these guys are encroaching on the Diamondbacks territory, who is a larger motorcycle club, but they are somewhat affiliated with Torpedo Ink. And so we see the Diamondbacks reaching out to Torpedo Ink to deal with the Venomous Club at first. And then, of course, as things progress, we always find out that somehow all these guys are tied into each other. And we also begin to see a little bit more of some of the backstory of the other members of Torpedo Ink. And so that leads us into hopefully getting their stories down a little bit. We also see a new member to Torpedo Ink. He arrives in this book, so I can't wait to see how he develops with these guys as well. This book had 439 pages, and I will definitely be giving it a 5 out of 5. I love the character development, as always, between the two main characters, Absinthe and Scarlet. But what I really liked about this story is that Scarlet is able to stand and go toe-to-toe with any member of Torpedo Ink. I love that we finally have a woman who is not really dependent on Torpedo Ink. She has been able to take care of herself all these years, and she was even able to go out and get the training that she needs in order to handle and deal with what is happening in her life and what has happened. And I also love the fact that Absinthe tends to need Scarlet more than she needs him, because as I said earlier, she tends to calm the chaos that's going on in his mind, and he is able to focus better when she is around. And we also find that she is able to help him to better help the other members of Torpedo Ink. I also like how we continue to see the other characters within this series develop. And I like being able to still keep in touch with them. Even though they're not the main focus of the story, I still love being able to look back within each story to see how their relationships are continuing to develop as well. As always, you can buy this book from Amazon, have it delivered to your door, as well as you can order it from Kindle and have it downloaded on a reading device of your choice. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell so that you can be notified of my upcoming videos. And also, if there are any other authors or series that you would like for me to review, drop those in the comment section as well, and I will make sure to add those to my list of upcoming reviews. So, the next book that I will be reviewing will be Evil Queen by Gina Showalter. So I will see you guys back here for another episode of Cover to Cover Chronicles. Until then, stay safe. Bye-bye. See you later.